Okay, so we now have the basics of a game put together. Your task is now to make your game fun and make it as aesthetically pleasing as you want. Um, so the first thing we can do is pretty obvious. We can change the graphics, move stuff around, play with the where the bananas are generated, move the obstacles around. Perhaps you want to have several obstacles. Perhaps you want to have the obstacle generated randomly. Certainly don't need to have a tree as an obstacle. Likewise, you don't need to have an arrow and a monkey. You could have a cannon and a cannonball. You can add some background, lots of different fruit, but it doesn't only have to be bananas. It could be cherries, bananas, apples, and oranges. Um, and so on and so forth. The second thing you can do is you can play around with gravity and launch speed, number of bananas, all these numbers we've hard coded in. You might find that the game is much more fun if you increase the gravity by making this minus zero point 0.3 or decreasing it by, say, making it 0.15. There this number seemed to work well. That's why this was used. You might find you enjoy it with a different number. An obvious thing to add is to the gameplay. You can add different features as well. One thing you might consider is adding a timer and a score. And I will give you a few hints as how to do that right now. But I hope you will have all the knowledge to add a score and to display the score at the end of your game. If you need help, please send me an email. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a timer for the because otherwise, what's the point of a score? If you're going to collect all of them anyway, then it doesn't really matter. So in order to create a timer, the timer is going to be a variable, and we're going to go to our monkey script. We'll handle it there. We'll create a variable called timer. And when the game starts, we would like to set our timer to some amount of time. So we could put it in this block of code, but we can also have an identical block which just handles the timer. So let's do that. So we'll say when clicked, set timer. So set timers here. And let's set it to 25. And you'll notice if I start the game now, timer gets set to 25, all this stuff still happens. Both of these blocks are executed when I press the flag. So how do we want to count down with our timer? Well, we need a loop. So let's go to control. And we're going to repeat blank times, or repeat until, just a moment. So we've set our timer to 25. We want to repeat until the timer's out. So repeat until, and then we need an operator and a less than. So we're going to say until the timer is less than 0. So put a 0 here, put this in here, grab the variable timer. So what do we want to do? Well, here we just want to wait a second. And then we're going to decrease the timer. So where is the change timer by -1? Okay. And then once we've counted down, we want to end the game. Well, how do we, in order to do that, we want to send a message to the game which says time is up. So how do we do that? Well, we've done that before by broadcasting. So let's go to control. Sorry, it's an events, of course. Broadcast. And we would say, oh, I already created one. Time is up. Okay. So then elsewhere in your code, you can make an event when you receive broadcast time is up. Do something. You might want to create two different sprites: one for game over when you win, one for game over when the time is up. But this is the basic mechanic in order to determine whether the if you've run out of time, use broadcast time is up. If you clean up all the fruit, then you broadcast a different message. Okay, good luck, and send me an email if you have any problems or questions.